What's going on, guys? I am Toxic Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be jumping into stage 100 of the PAIKAN and JANEMBA EZA here. It shouldn't be too difficult of anything to take care of. The type effective category for this one is Otherworld Warriors, which prior to the 10th anniversary would have been an absolute nightmare. But as of now, you know, we do have both of the 10th anniversary Dokkan Fest LRs on here, as well as the Carnival LR Tag Switch Goku Frieza, so all of which are 10th anniversary buffs. You know, and then we have gotten quite a few good EZAs for this category as well over time, basically like in the last year, right? So we do have a pretty decent team to be able to jump in here with at this point. I suppose if you're lacking the 10th anniversary LRs, that could be a bit of a hindrance for you, but there still are a couple of decent units that are Otherworld Warriors leaders, and then you could potentially just use one of the 10th Annie LRs as like a friend lead, right? So yeah, this is definitely not too difficult of an EZA by any means, which is unfortunate as it is. It seems like that's kind of the new trend with EZAs. EZAs in general haven't been super difficult for the last couple of years now. When I first started my YouTube channel, I want to say like, what's it been, like 3 years at this point? I was doing team building guides for every single new EZA event that came out. So prior to the release of the actual event, granted, this was something that was a little easier to do when the games weren't synced up, because I would be, you know, going over the details for an event that had existed for months and months on JP. So we kind of already knew the difficulty level and already saw some of the best team builds and stuff for it, you know, prior to its release on Global. And then I'd make a team building guide explaining everything, you know, that we could expect with the coming EZA and what all the best units were for it. And so I would do that. But now with the sync of the game, so it's a little bit, you know, we only have about like a day in advance to know what even like the type effective categories are going to be, and to see the actual stage breakdowns to know if there's certain typings that are going to be nullified or whatever, to be able to give like a really accurate team building guide suggestion. So yeah, that's one thing. And then the other thing is that they're not really necessary anymore. I found that over time they got a lot less views just because EZAs are so easy to beat nowadays, especially like mainly just to get through stage 30 to be able to earn all the medals that you need. It's pretty impossible to fail them at this point. They're like occasionally, maybe once in a while, we'll have a tricky one or two of them. Or, you know, maybe like if it's just the type effective category is something that's so small and niche and terrible that there really aren't that many options, and people do want to know like what the best absolute team build is going to be for it, then, you know, in those cases, I guess it makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, for the most part, that's why I've just been running stage 100, because I feel like it's better for me to just showcase that I'm clearing through stage 100 on all of these, just as far as like my account completion is considered. But team building guides just seem like not super relevant anymore, unfortunately. I would love for it to be, but yeah, doesn't seem that way with EZAs these days. Like, as you can see, we were pretty easily able to auto that all the way up here at stage 100. Let's go ahead and take a look at the friends list here and see what people are using. So yeah, it looks like basically everybody's using kind of the same exact team build. Okay, so we've got... this person's using AGL UI Goku, which makes sense maybe for a couple reasons, because he's got the dodge. So he's got guaranteed dodge turn 1. So that's going to be useful for you. And then, you know, oftentimes it's not going to take you more than like 2 or 3 turns to beat the EZA anyway, so you're probably only going to see him for his first appearance where he'd have the guaranteed dodge. But then post that, once you get like much higher in these EZAs, I suppose you could also take advantage of his revive if you are getting to a point where you start to take damage with some of your other units. So that could be an interesting use case here. And then we have the STR Super Gogeta, the Super EZA here. He will be a really strong character defensively, but unfortunately this EZA does nullify damage from... well, not nullify, but it reduces damage from STR characters, so he's not going to be providing any damage for you. But he is a support as well, so he'll be making your other characters do some more damage. So I suppose if you're lacking the units, he could be another nice add-in. And then we have the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku here. Makes sense that that's being used as a leader. That's another really strong Otherworld Warriors leader, though looking at this person's team, because they have both of the 10th anniversary LRs on their team, they would actually be getting a better leader skill buff if they just use one of them as the leader instead and just put him on the team. So they don't actually have an optimal build, unfortunately, for them. But that will work perfectly fine for you as well. And then, yeah, I guess post-stage 30, once we have access to the sub-EZAs that come along with this, the Super Kaioken Goku and the STR PAIKAN, you could probably throw them on the team as well. Even the AGL PAIKAN, technically, would be a viable unit. It's just, it looks like the common strat here is to use one of the 10th Annie LRs, and the PAIKANs are not going to be on their leader skill, so... yeah, that's one hindrance of using that team, is you won't be able to use, like, the PAIKAN that comes out of this. Okay, so yeah, we got a decent glance at some team options and ideas there. It's all looking pretty much the same. So the very last thing that we will do in typical EZA video fashion, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at... Oh, wait, before we get to that part, when I was talking about the sub-EZAs, I actually did want to mention this. I wanted to rant a little bit about the quality of life for EZAs, because, you know, as we've noticed here, for the last 2 Dual Dokkan Fest EZAs, I suppose I might as well go back to this to be able to show. For the last 2 Dual Dokkan Fest EZAs that we've gotten, they've been combined into one EZA. And this has been a little bit of a hindrance, right? So for both of these EZAs, just because we're earning half the amount of Dragon Stones. Now, there are people who shout it out in the community and say, you know, oh, not to fear. If they're going to take away Dragon Stones earned from EZA stages, it doesn't mean they're actually taking away the Dragon Stones. It just means that they're going to add 30 more Dragon Stones in mission rewards, in login bonuses, in, you know, other event rewards, things like that, right? And that's probably true, right? Like, the Dokkan dev team does and has always done a very good job at tracking that kind of thing. If you look at the total amount of stones accumulated throughout a given celebration and compare it to the previous same celebration the year before, it's always more. They have been gradually increasing the like Dragonstone count that we're earning. And if you look at the total compilation of stones earned per year, again, that does become more and more here. So while they may be, you know, sliding away from giving us free stones from grinding EZA stages, they are going to make up for it by giving us the stones in other places. I just think it is still kind of feels bad for players that are not super in tuned with the game, or that don't log in every single day, right? So if they are going to be taking away some potential stone earnings here from EZAs and then add it to login bonuses instead, that's going to be a hindrance for players that only come back during major celebrations. So for instance, I do this on my JP account, where I haven't played it in weeks now, since the anniversary hype has completely fizzled out at this point. I've just been logging in here and there every couple of days, but I don't really play it anymore. And then probably once we get to like the worldwide download celebration or something, I'll log back in, start playing again, and I'll catch up on all the EZA stages that I haven't played yet and earn myself a massive collection of stones all at once. So, you know, that's going to hurt players that do that kind of thing, where you would technically have more EZAs to grind over time. And give yourself more stones, right? So I've heard a lot of people saying that at least it would be nice if they would just give us double the stones. If they have some type of problem with releasing extra EZA stages just because they don't want to create too many of them, because there's already so many hundreds of them in the game, I can see why it makes sense for them to, you know, kind of start dumbing these down and combine the Dual Dokkan Fest into one EZA event. That's fine, but just give us double the stones. Give out 2 stones per stage cleared instead of 1, and then problem solved, right? And then, like, double the missions. So instead of just getting 4 from the missions, you get 8 from the missions, and then there you go. Now you're getting a total of 68 stones instead of just 34 from each EZA. I think that would solve the problem perfectly, but it looks like Dokkan has other ideas. So unfortunately, that is just us crying into the wind about it. But yeah, I've heard those complaints from the community, and I share those same complaints, so don't worry, we are in the same boat on that one. Okay, so then the other thing that I wanted to talk about really quick is the other quality of life change that has come to EZA events. This is the very first time that we are seeing a situation like this. So sub EZAs for the physical Super Kaioken Goku and for the STR PAIKAN have released alongside the Dual Dokkan Fest EZAs here. Now, there were just some specific battle conditions to earn missions, and then we were able to earn enough extra EZA medals to do the sub EZAs as well. So we don't actually have to go back in and grind for the sub EZAs. That is huge news. That is awesome. This pairs alongside really well, like when they do the these Dokkan Awakening support campaigns, right? This is something newer that they've been doing, where as long as you are working on getting the character awakened during the event period, then you're going to be able to earn some extra missions and get yourself some free Awakening medals so that you don't have to grind quite as hard in whatever Dokkan event, right? And they're doing that exact same thing now with EZA. So I'm hoping that this is a new thing to come and that they will always do this moving forward in the future. So the only time you would ever have to grind medals for a sub EZA would be if it's from a previous sub EZA that did not just release and you're catching up on something from, you know, further in the past. Then it makes sense that you would have to do a little bit more work to, you know, work on that for yourself. But yeah, I really, really hope that they keep this going. This was such a fluid process. So overall, as far as, you know, the speed of being able to get everything done, that was amazing because we, you know, jumped into an EZA, grinded out 30 stages real quick. Not to mention, it's a Dual Dokkan Fest EZA where you're earning medals for 2 characters, but you didn't actually have to fight against both units. You fight against the JANEMBA, or the PAIKAN for the first couple of stages, and then it switches to JANEMBA, and then you're just fighting against JANEMBA. So it's a single enemy fight, which means it's going to be much quicker to clear and much harder to get KO'd on because there's less attacks coming back at you. And only the possibility for 1 super attack per turn rather than 2 if there were 2 potential enemies, right? So yeah, quick and easy 30 stages, and then after that you're able to EZA all 4 of the characters that are available from there without any additional work or labor put into it at all. And then on top of that, with 4 EZA'd characters coming in, obviously EZAing all of them does cost quite a bit of Zenny, so they gift us all of these Zenny statues, which helps make up for all of that, you know, extra Zenny spent as well. So yeah, just overall, I think looking at this and the quality of life changes that they're doing, I can see where their mindset is headed with the EZAs. I think that this is definitely a good thing, right? Overall, it seems like the quality of life for EZAs is good, especially with so much other challenge content being added into the game so frequently now. I guess it makes sense that they don't want people to have to spend as much time on EZAs if they don't have to, right? So yeah, very good stuff overall. Okay, so before we finish up the video here, we will take a look at what we usually do, which is my list of special characters. I actually finally went ahead and made a special little graphic for this just to make it a little bit more palatable to you guys looking at it. Instead of just the list of characters I had on the Dokkan Info website. So I've actually split them up here. As we can see in the top left corner, we have units that are specifically built to revive. So the Dokkan Fest Cell and the Metal Cooler have a free revive mechanic, so they'll be able to revive at any time throughout the battle. So I think these 2 units... Let's see, would they be usable in this one? I mean, I suppose so. Neither of them are going to be on the type effective category. Neither of them are going to be on the leader skills you're going to be using. Though I suppose there are quite a few different Otherworld Warriors team builds you can make, so you probably could build an Otherworld Warriors team that has like one of these guys on the leader skill. But ultimately, I think the best strat for using these revive characters during EZAs is to not have them on the leader skill. That way you can actually... you know, like, force the revive, and you know that they're going to take enough damage because they're not on the leader skill, right? So moving down, when we have the TEQ androids, they've got the Ghost Usher active skill. That is, again, always going to be a perfectly usable thing in any EZA that you're only facing off against one enemy with. So that'll work perfectly fine for them. And then down below, we have the Int Fatboo, who I think is the best unit on this list for any given EZA at any point. He's got the free revive, just like the other 2 at the top, but then once he is post-revive, then he has the Ghost Usher active skill as well. So yeah, even with him not being on the leader skill, he would still be a really, really strong option here, potentially. Okay, then moving up to the upper left corner, we have dodging units, units that are primarily... you know, built to not take any attacks. So the AGL UI Goku, obviously we did see someone make a team build with him on the team. So that will definitely be a viable option for you. Remember that he has the 100% dodge on turn 1, so that'll be really good. And then technically he does have the revive as well, if you are able to get yourself below that 70% HP threshold, right? The TEQ Caulifla, however, is not going to be viable for this EZA specifically because we need a Pure Saiyan or a movie boss. Oh, wait. Not movie boss. Universe Survival Saga. Pure Saiyan or Universe Survival Saga enemy for her to proc her dodging capabilities. So unfortunately, she will not be usable in this one. And then down here at the bottom, we have units that focus primarily on damage reduction. So the two 7th anniversary LRs are going to be viable for this. They pretty much, I guess, would be viable in any EZA stage because they don't have specific conditions that are going to require them, you know, to get the damage reduction. It's just turn 1 and then the first turn after activation. So as long as you don't get, like, I wouldn't recommend using both of them on the same team as per usual, just because if you do manage to get both of them on turn 1, then that means you're not going to be able to rotate both of them off and then have them come back on turn 4 to be able to transform. One of them would be forced to come back on turn 3, and then they wouldn't have any protection and probably get you KO'd on turn 3, right? But having one of them on the team, or I suppose if you are running both, then just know that that's a risky run, and you would want to make sure that they're on opposite rotations at least. And then you would be able to get 2 full turns of protection with their massive damage reduction, so they could be very viable. And then in this one, I think that the God Goku actually is going to be a decent option here, because he has the 77% damage reduction against movie bosses, and you're going to be fighting against JANEMBA for the majority of this EZA, so yeah, he could be a solid option here as well. Okay, well, that is it for the special units that we have to suggest that would not be, like, you know, units on lead. So I think we'll go ahead and finish it up here. There were no new battle motions or anything like that to take a look at, unfortunately. It seems like that was really just only a 10th anniversary thing, because they haven't added battle motions to any EZA characters since the 10th anniversary ended. So unfortunate as that is, I guess that's the way it's going to be moving forward, and this is the new trend that we can get used to, right? Alright, well, yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace!